Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Welcome back to the Oddity Shop, everybody. I am sitting here with Kara, looking all beautiful, eye masks on, tea in hand. Kara, what is going on?
I'm trying to get over a migraine.
And I'm going to help by just talking super loud the whole time. All right, though, before we talk about anything, what do we got to talk about first?
50, baby.
Episode fucking 50, guys. Thank you. We need that moment of applause. There's like part of me that can't believe we made it to 50. There's another part of me that knows it's just become so routine now, but like stick around with us. There's going to be 50 more.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to lie though. I thought we had more than 50 because it just feels like we do so much for each that it just feels like more, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that 50 is not a lot.
Right. It does feel like we've been at it a minute, but holy crap. Anyways, though, in case you haven't listened before and you have no idea what we're talking about, this is the Oddity Shop podcast where we talk about creepy, weird, odd, haunted stories from around the world. What the hell is up with you today other than a migraine?
I actually did a lot today. I started reorganizing my closet. I replanted a bunch of plants, which I know you need to do.
So badly.
Propagated
a
bunch. Cleaned, I don't know. And then I laid out for a little bit, and then I just started getting this weird headache migraine thing, but I think it's starting to like go away, thankfully. That's really all I did. I did go down a rabbit hole last night of watching videos of baby armadillos playing with toys, and I highly recommend if you just need to just smile.
That actually sounds really freaking cute.
Because they leap over it and then they ball, because you know how armadillos like ball, and then they ball and then they roll and they kind of like throw it.
Oh.
It's so cute. I can't even get over it. Now I want an armadillo.
Okay, so I went down a very different rabbit hole last night, but I was dying laughing. Do you remember Omegle or whatever it was, or like chat roulette, where like it's just like the random webcam?
Gross.
Oh, disgusting. Yeah. But there's this guy on TikTok who he like, you know, like when you hit next, it like loads the screen for the next person to come in.
Yeah.
So he'll have his like a pre-recording of that. So he'll like pop up and say something really creepy, and then it'll give the loading screen like he hit next. So while it's doing the loading, the people will be like, oh my God, what a creep. And then he'll pop back up and be like, I'm not a fucking creep, and then go away again. And like scare
that's
them.
That's actually brilliant.
Oh my God, he has hundreds of videos, and like some of them he'll get them 2 or 3 times because it'll go to like another person he has in another room, and then he'll walk in the door and they just freak out. It is hilarious.
That's actually, if you were that person though, you'd be so unbelievably creeped out.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially like they don't know unless they see it on TikTok later. But I'll have to send you one. I've been
that reminds me, there was one that was going around, and it was like, though he was pretending to get like murdered, they'd be like, I think somebody's in your closet, like I think I saw somebody. That's not funny though, because you have no way of calling the police. Like you truly thought that person died, and you have no that's I also went down I don't even know how this happened, but Reels started showing me clips from Euphoria, which I didn't watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either.
I knew it would give me anxiety. I think I would like it, but it's a lot. And the thought of whatever. I can confidently say that I've watched every episode of Euphoria through Reels. Confidently. Because then I started going through a rabbit hole of like, well, I kind of want to keep going. And now they just keep popping up. So I've pretty much seen all of Euphoria.
That's how I am with The Good Doctor. I've never watched an episode in my life, but I could tell you the whole show because TikTok. You watch one and it's all the algorithm shows you.
So that's about it. Oh, I have a bone to pick with you.
I was going to bring it up because you said anxiety a minute ago, and I think that's where you're going with this.
Oh, no, but thank you for reminding me that's something else. When I was uploading our stuff this morning, because today is Thursday, so it would have been episode, I don't know, bleeding house. You were talking about going on your camping trip. And I specifically said, well, you're not going alone this year, right? And you said, no, this year I'm not going alone. I really wish I had alone days, but I don't. And I said, good, because I don't like that. What did you do?
Okay, well, it wasn't by choice, but I did go solo the first night. And let me tell you, though. So I've done solo before, but it's in campgrounds where like there's other people. And I went back to a campground. It's actually the same campground we've talked about in the past where I thought I heard the chanting in the middle of the night. I went back there and it was completely dead empty. I had the entire campground to myself. So,
which doesn't that make you feel a type of way? Like something's not right?
No, not at all. I felt great. In fact, around 11:30 midnight, I did have a karaoke hour because there's nobody around for miles. Now, I don't know if I've told you this, but I don't know what time in the middle of the night there was another camper. But when I was leaving at 10 in the morning, I saw one other tent, probably about a quarter mile from mine. But he was definitely not there before it got dark out. I don't know when he came in, but he may have gotten my midnight karaoke hour.
Were you singing Alanis Morissette?
No, but I do think there was one or two Shania songs.
I was going to say Shania first, and then I was like, it might be Alanis.
Oh, no.
You idiot.
If he did hear it, I am so sorry.
No, it's not really a bone to pick with you because I've already told you I'm not even mad about it. I'm just a good friend. I'll just take it on. I
have been sharing with you.
Well, hold on. So let me just go to my text messages. Monday, I said to you, and I hadn't talked to you all day, and this is at 6:57 p.m. I said, I have a feeling something is wrong. And you said, laugh out loud. God, we are too close. I woke up feeling like dog water with anxiety and really bad depression today. Just not a good physical mental health day. And I'm like, sorry, love you. You said love you too. Thanks for checking. Blah, blah, blah. And then was it the next day?
Yeah, it was the next day. So caveat this, right, is sometimes like, especially after I took a weekend of doing nothing, like all the things I have moving in my life constantly, like if I stop, I start to get really anxious. So my anxiety though, like it kind of comes on as like a dry throat or sometimes just like dry heaving.
So Tuesday at 6:14 p.m. you had called me, but I was working. So I said, can't talk, but I have bad anxiety for no reason. So what's wrong? Then I said, I'll call you later. You're like, cool, just gonna chat. Sorry about anxiety sharing. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. So then when I call you, I say, yeah, I don't know what happened, but at like 3:30, 4:30, and I know it because I was on my lunch. I'm just sitting in my car. I had already ate for about 40 minutes at that point. I'm just chilling. And then all of a sudden I feel in my throat like I am choking. I've never felt this, and it wasn't food because, like I said, I've been done eating for like 40 minutes, and then it had not gone away. It didn't go away for the rest of the night, so I'm like, it's anxiety, and then that's when I had texted him. So when I call him on the way home, he goes, that's weird because all day I was gagging from anxiety, and at about 3:30, 4:30, it went away because you gave it to me.
Well, this is what happens when you have two like high empathic people who share way too much crap with each other.
Said I'm not even mad about it. Like, I'll take it. It's fine. But it is really weird.
All right. Well, instead of me thinking back about my anxiety, you got a question for me?
Mm-hmm.
What you got, girl?
What do you think of when you think of roadkill?
It's always like that. Okay. Do you remember like when we were kids, there's always like those stuffed animals of roadkill for some reason? It's like the squirrels that were flattened in the middle with like the fake tire tracks over them.
Oh, weren't they more like dog toys?
I think either a dog toy or like, I think there was maybe a Beanie Baby one or something like an off-brand Beanie Baby. But like, that's whenever I think of roadkill, I always go back to like those like stuffed animal ones for some reason.
So I think of like a terrifying scene of like vultures circling around.
Little different than mine, but yep.
Yeah, well, it's kind of disturbing that they made toys of roadkill. This is like the 90s for you. Okay, well, do you know how disgusting vultures are?
I mean, I've seen a turkey vulture, and they're pretty gross.
Okay, let me
just tell you. No, I don't know how gross a vulture is.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you some facts.
Bird facts, let's go.
Okay, vultures urinate on themselves. They urinate on on their legs, and I guess it's like to keep themselves cool. And it's their thought is that their piss will kill the bacteria that gets on their legs from walking through dead bodies.
You don't do that to keep yourself cool?
Did you know that they have bald heads solely because if they didn't, the feathers would get congealed from the blood and insides of the dead animals that they stick their heads into?
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
It's so gross. And then vulture, I think people mostly know this, but vultures don't hunt because they wait to sense a sick or dying animal that like is about to pass and then they eat it.
Right.
So they are called nature's cleanup crew, which I guess is a plus for them.
Makes sense.
But vultures have a habit of overindulging. So those little corpses that they're, just gnawing on, yeah, they tend to overindulge. And this causes them to have trouble taking flight because they're a little bit too hefty.
That's why I almost hit them with my car.
So they'll just vomit mid-flight.
Oh.
And then they also projectile vomit on enemies as a distraction, which I wouldn't mind having that ability to just like, if I didn't like you, just projectile vomit on you for you to go away.
It'd be a really good way to get out of a social situation you don't want to be in.
Right. But a turkey vulture can vomit up to 10 feet.
Gross. Anyways, this is our new podcast, Bird Facts.
So that's vultures for you. Are you ready to use your imagination?
Sure.
Cool. Imagine it's March.
Okay.
In 1876.
Long time ago. All right, going way back.
Okay. You, Mary Crouch, are outside enjoying a day making soap.
I am Mary.
Your face was so funny because I could tell you were really trying to envision that and you're like, I don't know what to do.
A little bit of that, but a little bit of Mary Crouch sounds familiar.
Okay. When all of a sudden it starts to rain. Confused you are because it's a clear day in Olympia Springs, Kentucky.
Oh, no.
More confused because what seems to be raining isn't rain at all.
Is this the little globs?
Between 11 a.m. and noon, chunks of an unknown substance were seemingly raining down.
Yes.
Mary, you, said that meat started to slap the ground. Meat.
Is it vultures? I figured it out, didn't I?
So you're just outside making your soap and meat starts to rain from the sky.
Disgusting.
Reports state that most of the meat pieces ranged from approximately 2 by 2 inches. However, some were 4 by 4 and 1 or 2 were like 5 by 5. Your husband, Alan, claimed that it fell like large snowflakes and the meat looked like beef.
I just don't imagine snowflakes falling fast enough to imitate falling meat hunks.
I don't know if I know what that means. I mean, I know what snowflakes look like, but I don't know. If you don't already know, we're talking about the Great Kentucky Meat Shower.
Yes. I've heard of this. I've only read like 2 paragraphs on like top 10 weirdest things.
Yeah, the story itself isn't really a long one, so I do apologize for that. But this is really something that has been in my, like, randomly comes into my brain very often. Because I just...
Raining meat comes into your brain often?
No, this. Like, okay. What happened? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so bizarre. I don't get it. Hunks of flesh are falling around you as you make your soap. Just like us being curious and wanting to understand, neighbors start showing up to see this phenomenon. And I'm not going to lie, I think this one I would have to show up to see it myself. Like the bleeding house, I'm not going to show up on her lawn. That's just rude. But this one, I might come to your farm and want to see the meat chunks.
Was it just one farm?
Yeah. But it was pretty big. Like, also, it was...
Like in the 1800s, too. You might get some free food out of it.
Do you feel the most powerful and beautiful with the elements of the earth around you? Do you like one-of-a-kind jewelry? Do you sometimes feel like a woodland fairy? Me too. That's why I created Holly and Hemlock, a magical shop filled with handmade wooden jewelry and metaphysical tools. Come check out our enchanting wooden wares at www.hollyhemlock.com and join us in honoring the magic and beauty of nature with each unique creation. That's www.hollyhemlock.com.
Okay. So Harrison Gill said that when he visited, the meat was everywhere on the farm. He made mention that it was even sticking out of like the fence. Like, so it landed, it was like chunks in the fence, which is just so gross thinking about it. So now we have everyone trying to figure out what the hell is going on and is it going to happen again? Like, nobody knows. I don't know how confused. I don't know how confused. This is the same as like my house bleeding. I don't know. I don't get it. And I don't know what I would do.
Collect meat and have stir fry Friday, baby.
Ew. A local hunter thought that he'd stop by and lend his expertise. He stated that the meat was that of a bear.
How does he know?
I don't know. This is where I'm like, absolutely not. But I think you'd be down. So 2 neighbors offered up their taste buds. Yeah, they ate it.
Yeah, I'll eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know about Scott.
They concluded that it tasted like venison or mutton. What is mutton again? I meant to look it up, but I can't remember.
I think it's just like a really poor meat.
People don't ever say mutton, dude. Like, I never hear anyone say that anymore.
Only when they're talking about sideburns.
Oh yeah, mutton chops.
Mutton is the flesh of sheep used as food.
Okay. Disgusting.
Yeah, it is not very tender.
So it probably is like the bad.
Yeah, it's not a good cut.
Okay. So we're not just going to go off a hunter and 2 wackadoo neighbors. So the meat gets tested.
Okay.
Or whatever this is, it gets tested. It's confirmed it's indeed meat. I guess thankfully, because they ate it. But also, like, I don't know. Just think about it. Those fools ate meat that they didn't even know was meat and that had been sitting out overnight and it was raw. But then again, I guess at this time, you're kind of always eating, like your meat's always sitting out, right? Didn't they like put salt on it or something?
Yeah, it was usually salt cured if they couldn't keep it in a nice box.
All right, so whatever. It's still gross to me. Okay, Dr. L.D. Castabine's hypothesis was that, drumroll please, the Great Meat Shower was none other than...
Turkey got vomit. Or turkey vomit.
Vulture vomit.
I was thinking it was a turkey vulture.
You said turkey got vomit.
I was going to say turkey vulture and vomit, and it all just stuck in my head. It was turkeys.
Turkey got vomit.
Thanksgiving 2.0.
So, remembered, I spewed all those useless facts about vultures. How they basically like projectile vomit, the theory was, and people still go with this, the full thought is that a flock of vultures that overconsumed some type of carcass all at the same time vomited to lose some weight. Then a light breeze from the March air caused the meat to fall like rain all across the farm.
I mean, I don't know if it's just because you started with vultures, but that seems too obvious. What else do you got?
Well, before Dr. Castabine's theory, there was another one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Leopold Brandes analyzed some of the specimens. He said that it wasn't meat at all. It's a type of cyanobacteria, which is a classification of gram-negative bacteria that obtains energy from photosynthesis. Okay, but the name of this comes from the color that the bacteria tends to be, which is bluish green.
I was going to say, if it's photosynthesizing, it's got to be greenish.
Yeah. So...
What color was this? Was this, like, meat color?
It was meat! So they say this stuff kind of looks like algae, which this looked like meat. Okay. So the thought was that the cyanobacteria forms colonies that are surrounded by a later... Oh, my God. Let me start that sentence over. So the thought was that the cyanobacteria forms colonies that are surrounded by a layer of protection like a jelly envelope, which just sounds disgusting to me. No stock is the most common form of cyanobacteria, and it's said to also be called star jelly, troll's butter, spit of the moon, fallen star, star's blubber, witch's butter, or witch's jelly.
I've heard the last two.
Witch's butter and witch's jelly?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like star's blubber.
It does roll off the tongue in like, maybe not in an easy way, but like a tickles the brain right kind of way.
It's just kind of fun. Blubber. Okay, so nose stock is found in a variety of aquatic and terrestrial environments. It's known to swell up into translucent jelly-like mass whenever it rains. So Leopold identified this as nose stock cranium, which is flesh-covered. However, he then said that nose stock cranium still looks more like seaweed in color, and that it commonly tastes like frog or spring chicken.
Okay.
But he thought that it ballooned up and fell upon the Crouch home when it rained. There's a problem here. It hadn't rained.
Except for meat.
Wow. But this is supposed to come
right.
with rain.
Like
so
actual
Leo
water.
here, right. Leo here might not have been making much sense in that, but he did give some of the samples he had to experienced histologist and president of the Newark Scientific Association, Dr. A. Mead Edwards. And if you didn't know, like I didn't, a histologist is someone who studies microscopic anatomy and microanatomy.
Come on, everybody knows that.
And this man said that it was likely lung tissue of an infant.
What?
Or a horse. I'm like,
I don't
dude.
think he's very good at his job. Those are two vastly different things.
I mean, I guess I don't know what those lung tissues look like. Maybe an infant also looks like a horse lung tissue, but I find those to be extremely different things. Another histologist, Dr. J. W. S. Arnolds, said that it was some kind of animal cartilage or lung tissue, or both.
All right, well, at least we have some like consensus around it being lung tissue, but how does that fall from the sky?
Right. And how, I don't know, infant, horse, I can't get over that part. Then other scientists got their hands on it, and it was confirmed that 2 samples were lung tissue, 3 were muscular tissue, and 2 were cartilage, which they didn't have a lot of samples. It was just what Leopold had gathered, which wasn't that many. So maybe all the other chunks could have been different things too, collectively, but that's what these ones were.
Okay, so that almost puts me back to vulture, just because it's coming from like all over.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I don't know. Like Leopold stuff, like with the cyanobacteria and all that kind of stuff in the nose stock, like it's very interesting and it's cool. And I think that if you're trying to find like a more scientific reason or whatever, that I guess could make sense. But the fact that it was tested and it was like meat, like lung thing, it's just weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, because I've seen like that jelly substance like in little lakes or whatever, ponds or like.
Yeah, I can envision exactly what it is,
right.
But I've never seen it come.
And I want to say in
rain.
Kentucky or somewhere around that same area, there was a time where those like globs did also rain down. That wasn't meat. It was just like, well,
this is Kentucky, but I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen that in my lifetime where I can say that it rained and I went outside and there's just like big chunks of, what was it? Stars blubber everywhere. But,
or horse and infant lungs.
Oh, God. So after all of that testing and all of those doctors, that's actually when we are brought to the theory of Castabine. So...
Of what?
The original doctor. Or the original man. What was his name? Yeah, Dr. Castabine.
Oh.
He was the theory of the vultures.
Okay.
So these were all of the theories that they went through with the testing stuff before him.
Got it.
And this is a great quote. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
The disgorgement of some vultures that were sailing over the spot. From their immense height, the particles were scattered by the prevailing wind over the ground. The variety of tissue discovered, muscular, connective, fatty, structureless, etc., can be explained only by this theory. So vulture vomit.
He kind of should have been a poet, maybe. He's got away with words.
The disgorgement of some vultures.
From a great height.
So, like I said, it's a very short story, but it's so bizarre to me. And it's still actually unsolved because some people will go with that vultures. Some people still go with the, bacteria. And some people have really wild ideas. Like, I don't even know.
Hit me with some of the wild ones.
Well, I don't really have any wild ones. It was just like murder, things like that. But my thought was that someone murdered someone and then chopped them all up and then flew their private plane over and like dispersed all the chunks around. But then I remembered we're in 1876 and the planes were invented in 1903. So.
Dang, I was gonna say that's a really like sound theory.
Honestly, that is every time I've read this, that's just what I think, that it's somebody chopped something up. But how did it get thrown like it was raining? I just don't think, and I could be wrong, because I mean, people sync up in different things, like menstrual cycles sync up, things like that. So I guess because I'm saying
I'm just so excited to see where this is going. Okay,
because I don't understand how all the vultures just puked at the exact same time.
Okay,
like we're just all gonna throw up.
I really wanted to know how we were going from menstrual cycles syncing to
no, because
meat
I started
flying.
saying I don't understand how they all could sync up, but then I was like, I guess in nature that is a thing, but I don't know about vomit. And I couldn't find anywhere that says that they all just decide to vomit on the like together.
If they ate a horse, hear me out. That's a lot of meat.
Or an infant.
Well, see, I don't think there's enough meat for an infant to cause a whole flock to puke.
Okay,
but a
so
horse,
let's just say a big horse died.
Yeah.
They were so they engorged in this horse. Cool.
Then the vultures are flying with the wind. And they realize they're all too heavy. So, so like Stand By Me, the movie.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Okay, so there's the whole part where they're talking about like this infamous pie eating contest, right? Where like this one dude is winning the pie eating contest, and he does so by eating so much pie so fast. Well, he starts to throw up, and then because he started to throw up,
everybody starts to
throw up at the same time, and maybe like these vultures have a weak stomach. They saw their buddy go, and then they all just started puking.
I am not opposed to this, but the fact that like it's still technically unsolved and no one really knows what it is to this day, and nothing like that has really happened again. Like, don't you think something like that would happen again?
Yeah, like it probably should have. Okay, so if it's not vultures,
I don't know. I think somebody. I don't know. That's why I'm very curious as to. I really, really, really want people to actually comment on our stuff and tell us what they think that this is, because if we're not going with this bacteria and we're not going with vultures,
I don't think it's the bacteria, because I know what that bacteria looks like and smells like, and it's not meaty. It's like when they said
algae.
It was like frog.
He said it tasted like frog or spring chicken.
Yeah, because you get that little bit of like still like pondiness with a frog.
Yeah, I mean, like algae, kind of like the slimy, like greeny looking, like it's not algae, but like.
So, what do the Crouches think?
They don't freaking know. They have no idea. They had no idea. They were. I mean,
what about the poor people who ate this?
They volunteered that shit.
So they think it's meat originally, and then like, could you imagine being the person who ate it? Now you have to sit there while everyone starts to like test it or come up with theories. And like, oh my God, did I just eat algae or infant lungs?
Right. So that's why I was like, that's so strange. And it's not like it was, I'm not saying scientists or doctors or whatever do this. I'm not saying that, but it's not like it was somebody that was like, okay, I think it might be this, and they test it, you know? It was just freaking neighbors, nosy neighbors that just came over and were like, yeah, let me tell you what I think it is.
What if they weren't nosy? What if they were just really hungry?
I mean, maybe.
You got free meat raining from the sky.
What I did find interesting, and maybe just because of the time period, I don't know, nobody thought that it was a hoax. That never came up.
Really?
And I find that weird, because I feel like we've kind of, you and I talk about it, or like we've talked about it in probably a couple episodes of like hoaxes and things like that. The Atlanta Bleeding House, like everybody thinks that was a hoax. So it's like, I'm surprised that nobody was like, this was a hoax for attention. Now, again, though, you could say it's because it's in the 1800s. Like, what are they going to get from this? It's not like you can profit off of it. There's not really like media or things like that. So I guess what would be the point of being a hoax if that was it? I don't know.
I'm less surprised about them thinking not thinking it's a hoax, right? Rather than like, I'm surprised people didn't jump on like a witchcraft bandwagon.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Right? Like, I don't know if in the late 1800s we were still really worried about witches, but like, I imagine Kentucky in the late 1800s, there's probably still a few people who are like, that's a witch. Mary Crouch, witch name. Let's get her.
That's actually true. That is a witchy name. What was in that soap, Mary?
See? Mary's shady.
You know, I see. This is why this sticks in my head because I don't.
What is soap made out of in the 1800s?
Isn't it gelatin?
It's fat. It's rendered fat.
Which is like, right? Like, what is gelatin? Isn't that kind of like fat?
I have no idea how Jell-O works. Don't ask me. But I do know that they used to make soaps out of animal fat. So I wonder if maybe was she going to get busted for using like some unorthodox animals or something, and then just chop the rest of it up and was like, oh, it just rained freaking meat on our farm.
Okay, so this says,
and it was also made out of lye, I do believe, which would help make the bodies disappear. Maybe Mary was up to something. Maybe she was killing babies for soap.
So this is herbariasoap.com, and it says people in the 18th and 19th century made their own soap. They'd have, butchering, grease from cooking for their fat. So making soap. Oh, wait, hold on. Animal fat was melted and added.
All right, here we go. Here's my theory. I put it together. Mary was a witch. She was using the witch's butter from babies' lungs to make soap, and then getting rid of the rest of their bodies by saying it rained meat all over her property.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised nobody said anything about that.
That the only actual reason I thought of that is thinking back to is it Fight Club, right? When they're making soap and then they go to start stealing the medical waste.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Oh yeah, it's pretty gross. They go into the dumpster for it and then they snag one of the bags and
I need to rewatch that movie. It's been so long. It is a great movie.
We could do a whole episode on some of the caveats of that film, but
okay, so we're saying that Mary was killing or taking infants for their lung tissue.
100% I'm convinced, to make soap.
To make soap. And I'm sure maybe she was so she's selling the soap. Okay, I'm just saying. So she's selling the soap to the town. Somebody reports a baby missing, and then other people come forward and say that their baby's missing, and then she thinks she's going to get in trouble. So then she comes up with this hoax to distract everybody.
Boom. We solved it.
Because
okay, wait, I have one for you. Okay. Imagine you live in Salem, Massachusetts during the witch trials.
Ooh.
And you're a witch hunter, and you come across somebody with the name Mary Crouch. Are you burning her? That's a witch's name.
It is a witchy name for sure. But I don't want to be a witch hunter. I like witches.
And I didn't want to be Mary Crouch getting rained blood on, but you put me there.
You mean meat. You said blood. Raining blood on.
Meat, blood. It's the same thing, really.
You know, I don't know if it actually hit her. I imagine that her porch had a little awning and she was on the porch, like, making her
Well, it never rained it. She was spraying the babies everywhere.
Well, that's true.
Oh my God.
This here we are canceled.
So quickly.
50 is canceled.
I'm going to say something real quick here. Because are we getting to the end of this?
That's really all I have for you. So if we're done with theories.
References are in our show notes. Now, with that caveat, I've always said at the beginning, we're going to add our 2 cents. We have beyond added our 2 cents on this one. This is so speculative. So if there's any relatives of Mary Crouch listening, we're so sorry and please don't hex us.
Oh, yeah, because she's a witch. You're probably witches too.
Good job, though. I've heard of the meat rain in Kentucky. Haven't ever done a deep dive.
And I can honestly say that now my headache is gone. So I think I just needed to laugh a little more. It was like I said, I was on the verge of being gone, and now I feel a lot better. So this is good.
There you go. It was a nice kind of light
Thanks,
one.
Mary Crouch, for eating babies. I mean, no, she wasn't eating them. Maybe she was. Well, whatever. She was making soap out of them.
If she was eating them, she wouldn't be throwing them around the lawn. She was just making soap. Oh my God. This is going nowhere good.
Soap, baby.
Anyways, episode 50, the one where we get canceled for basically dead baby jokes and accusing people of being witches.
Listen, we're not laughing about dead babies. That's horrifying. And I don't want to trigger anybody for certain reasons.
We are laughing at witches, though, 100%.
We're laughing at this is the dumbest theory we could have ever come up with. So I would really like to hear other people's theories, though.
Yes.
And they can be bizarre, off the wall like ours. I really, really, please, when you listen to this episode, go to our social media. Same with the Bleeding House. Go back to that episode and comment what you think it was. I really want to know what other people think about these episodes. All of our episodes, actually. Anything we've asked. Go.
Absolutely.
Let us know.
We like to. We'll talk to you. We'll talk right back at you. We don't have many friends. Oh.
I posted a reel the other day that was like, if there was a zombie apocalypse, like what friend of yours would die first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody commented and they were like, my friend so-and-so, because she said if that stuff happened, she like basically she ain't running.
Dude,
like she's giving up.
I agree with her. Find her name. I want to say I agree with her.
I don't think they tagged her name.
Because I was just having this talk with, God, I want to say it was either Julia or Nick, but we were talking about like nuclear war, right? And I said, if it comes to that, I'm not, because Julia wanted to spend the weekend making bug out bags. You know, like those emergency bags.
That's called a bug out bag?
Yeah.
Because you bug out?
Sure. I don't know why, but I was like, listen, I'm not going to do that. If the bombs start to drop, tell me where they're going and I'm driving to the center of it, because I do not want to live in nuclear fallout. No, thank you. Not for me.
Okay, so who commented is Black Dahlia Shop, which they are like gothic wares and like witchcraft things. So they're actually cool. Instagram, but they're the ones that commented and said, unfortunately, my best friend, she said many times she is completely uninterested in enduring that nonsense and running ain't happening.
I love her. Is that?
But she didn't tell me who her friend was.
Are they a shop too?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, it's her.
We'll
shop.
make sure we put them
boutique
in the show notes of this episode as well.
Yeah, so it's actually cute.
Cool.
We should.
All right.
That candle's real. Oh, that candle's so cute. Okay.
See, now Kara's gonna go shopping, so we got to wrap this up. All right, good job. We appreciate you as always. Like Kara said, talk to us on social media. Leave us a review if you like. Share it with a friend,
please,
and
or two.
You know,
tell me I'm pretty.
I was gonna say, tell Kara she's pretty. She really needs the boost. You should see these.
Now I just
have
mask. To say it now. Yeah, do all the things like I just said. Talk to us on social media. And most of all, we love you. But most importantly, creep it real, yeah, balls.
Goodbye.
Bye.